Hello and welcome once again to kind of an extended Friday STEAM. Normally I do a science, technology, engineering, or math activity on Fridays at 3 p.m. But this weekend is Maker Faire, Empire State Maker Faire actually. So hello, my name is Sandy Roberts. I am the Makerspace Coordinator for the Warren County Library System, and I have been following along at this wonderful virtual Maker Faire all weekend, yesterday and today. So what is a Maker Faire? Maybe you don't know, and that is okay. I'm just checking, making sure that the volume works on everything. I've been having some sound problems. Okay, so a Maker Faire is typically, a place for creative types to get together. So whether you're an engineer, someone who makes robotics, someone who does 3D printing, someone who does electronics, whatever you love to do, we like to get you into a place where people are chefs or crafters or artists and see what amazing innovations and creations come from that connection. So Maker Faires are about building community among people that like to invent and innovate and make new things. And so the whole maker movement is really based on the idea that there is no limit to what we can create and how we can make the world better, make it more interesting, and work together to do that. So Maker Faires typically are events that are held where makers come, they set up booths, they set up tables, they share their projects, educators come and share what they're doing, companies that are innovating and inventing new products will come and share what they're doing. And so it's a great opportunity to kind of walk around and connect with people that you may not get to see any other time. And I mean, some of these Maker Faires, like World Maker Faire in New York City, which is one of the largest Maker Faires, has people, over 1,000 makers come from all over the world. Tens of thousands of people come and check all this out. It's a fantastic type of event. If you're someone that just likes to see new things, if you're a curious person who's interested in what the next new thing is going to be, Maker Faires are a wonderful place to do that. Well, obviously right now, Maker Faires are not something that we can do, okay? They tend to be pretty crowded, even outdoors. So this year, we had a couple of different makerspaces come together. So we had a World Maker Faire in New York City, Long Island Maker Faire, Rochester Maker Faire, Syracuse Maker Faire, Twin Tiers Maker Faire, Buffalo Maker Faire, Fredonia Maker Faire. I think I got them all, came together to put together a virtual experience. So since Friday, 9 a.m., they've been hosting different makers, makerspaces, companies, individuals, that are part of this maker community and want to share what they're doing. They also have a whole set of maker projects that you can explore. So what I thought I wanted to do, and you can watch my summary of yesterday's Maker Faire, that was our Educators Day, our Student Day. So it was a little bit smaller than today, believe it or not. Today goes from 9 a.m., 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., so a lot of content. We have 3 stages, so basically 3 streams to YouTube all day long. One is the Keep On Making stage, the next is the High Tech, Low Tech stage, and then there's a Makerspaces and Community stage. So, every roughly hour, there's new content on each stage, so you can imagine it is a ton of material. So I'm going to kind of summarize some of the things I thought were really cool today so far. It is by no means comprehensive. Please understand that. There is a lot of other stuff. Now, this is 100% free. I'll show you the website in a little bit. You can go to the YouTube channel. Right now, everything's just as one long stream for the whole day. So you can use the schedule to kind of guide where on the YouTube video you want to look for individual things. I touched base with Dan, who is one of the folks running Maker Faire. He is one of the production team, and he said by next week, all of it should be chopped up into individual segments, which will make it a little bit easier to find, and I'll let you know when that happens. But if you can't wait, and I know I couldn't, okay, we do have a lot of fun things. So let me give you the lowdown on what's going on with Maker Faire today. And again, not comprehensive. Okay, so I'm going to throw a lot at you very quickly. Bear with me, because I am blown away by how much creativity and how many really different projects we had this year that were shared. All right, here we go to my slideshow. So here's the schedule for today's Keep On Making stage. YourBow 2020, I did not grab a screen capture from, but that is actually, they are making an open source interactive kind of video game space that makerspaces, educational institutions, companies, clubs can use to interact with each other in kind of a gamified virtual world. And what's special about it is that it's totally open source, which means anyone can use it, anyone can modify it. So they're just at the stage of kind of, they've got their beta out there for people to test. So that's really interesting. If you're interested in that idea of being able to have virtual worlds and virtual interaction, definitely check out that talk. GED and EdTech, I want to share because I met Tracy Gray back in 2018 at World Maker Faire in New York City. And she is such an incredibly passionate, dedicated, knowledgeable educator. And she's been working a lot with communities that don't always have as much access to education, that don't have as much access to STEM education. So she's working a lot with Black communities, with communities that are, in inner cities, a lot of different groups. And she's been doing a lot of work to bring STEM and maker activities to those communities to help uplift them, to get more people into those fields, especially young girls. And she's now partnered with a number of other groups on her new initiative, which is to use educational technology to change opportunities for education, and notably to help people get their GED, to help them start new businesses, to help them reach out into STEM fields, learn coding, things like that. Really inspiring talk, I felt, gave me a ton of ideas about how we could be using the library more to reach out and help build entrepreneurship, to offer educational opportunities to our adult populations, because sometimes, we do a lot for kids and sometimes we forget about teens and adults. So it was really great, and I want to bring it up just because she's also doing a talk on November 10th. If you want to learn more about this, you can look her up on the Maker Faire website. I'll give you that link, and you can sit in on that talk. So Tracy Gray, I do not know how she has the energy to do everything that she is doing. Follow her on Instagram, follow her anywhere. She is changing the world for the better, and just really exciting. Just really great ways of thinking about education. The next one was a presentation called Saving Bees with Amanda here. And she has an organization and is working with folks all over the world, actually, to use technology, use the Internet of Things, use AI, use 3D printing to create havens for bees, habitats for bees, to protect our bee populations. Because whether or not you know it, bees are essential pollinators. Without bees, it's hard for us to grow food. And bees have been affected by pesticides, various other pests. Our bee populations have been severely harmed over the last couple of years. And so she's working with makers to use technology to fix that problem. One of the things I found really cool in her talk was how she did a workshop on designing, using 3D printing, little beehives, basically, that were biodegradable because they're made with PLA, that are easy to build. This will absolutely be a project in the Makerspace as soon as I can figure out how to make that happen, because it's a great way to learn 3D printing and learn about the natural world and be a citizen scientist to make it better. Definitely go watch that talk. Really interesting stuff. I'm a biologist, I'm a gardener, and I just love the idea of how we can use technology to make all of those things better. Okay, this probably was the most fun presentation I sat in on today. This is Adam. He is actually an art teacher. Can you imagine having this guy as an art teacher? He'd be fabulous. He's also a puppet maker and a puppeteer. And he has a great YouTube channel. Like, seriously, check out his YouTube channels up here. So he did a whole presentation on how to make your own puppet. And he actually did it like in an hour. He made this crazy puppet. And he talks all about the mechanics of how puppets work, how puppeteering is a really important storytelling, how to use it with kids as an art project. I was really inspired by this talk. My kids were really inspired by this talk. We will be making puppets tomorrow. We already have ideas for what we're going to do, and all the patterns are free, and he's got a great YouTube channel with even more information on making puppets. What is more fun than that? This is like super cool, full of whimsy, the kind of joy we all need right now. Definitely check that out. I will give a little plug. I did do a panel today on Family Maker Camp hosts. Over the summer and fall, I've been volunteering with Make and with Maker Camp to produce free project videos that are shared all across the nation, all across the world, really. And we've got about 50 different volunteer hosts who have been putting together these projects and working together as a community to just help families learn and grow and have fun together. So we hosted a panel today with Kathy Cesare, who is a fantastic maker author, Mike Carroll, who came up with Scrappy Circuits. He's also an educator, a longtime educator out of Philly. Andy Forrest from Steam Labs up in Canada, who has made many makerspaces and museum spaces. And then Kelsey and Matt from CodeJoy, which is a fantastic company that is teaching coding and specifically robotics virtually. And that was their business model before this all happened. They were just kind of starting up, and then COVID hit, and they were in the perfect spot to really offer so much to families right away. They have amazing projects coming up for fall, and they offer classes online anywhere in the world. So, you know, 4 great educators. I was very excited to get to moderate that panel. And if you are an educator of any kind, if you're doing clubs, if you're a homeschooler, if you're a parent that just wants to figure out ways to bring making and STEM into your home or share it out with others, watch that panel. It was just great discussion. All right. This is just a ton of fun. This is Cybertruckazilla. This is one of our young makers from Andy's Tech Garage. And this is a brother-sister team. And they are, like, when I say young makers, I mean young makers. And they work with their whole family to make these great robots. So typically, if you go to World Maker Faire or any of these maker fairs, you will see some of their robots. This is their newest one. And it is fabulous. It is fun. Hearing 2 young children talk about their love for making and making robotics is really inspiring. Share this with your kids and let them know that they can be makers, they can make robots, they can 3D print. This is something that they can absolutely do. And if they're not sure where to get started, guess what? You have a Makerspace Coordinator to help them. Okay, moving on to our high-tech, low-tech stage. This is everything that Maker Faire is about. It's like, okay, we're going to do robots, and then we're going to make like folded paper magazines and cool stuff like that. So let's go over some of these projects because my brain is bursting with ideas after watching this all day. And I've got more presentations to watch. I haven't even gotten to, I only got to about 3:30 before I had to put this together. So Ray's Robots, another one of our amazing young makers. So Ray, again, fell in love with making robots, and that is what he has been doing. So this was an opportunity for him to share the robots he's made. And what I love is that he talks about the things that went wrong, right? Because things go wrong when you're making something new and when you're inventing. So I love young makers and teen makers because I feel like sometimes they're just more willing to be really open about the challenges that they've faced and how they dealt with them. And they're just such creative thinkers. So again, if you've got a teen in your life that is interested in robotics or interested in technology, share this with them. Because representation matters, and seeing someone else who is doing something that you might not think you can do may inspire you to do it. So I really encourage you to share that if you've got a teen maker in your home. Open Source MedTech. This is a group from the Ukraine who zoomed in today to share what they're doing, and they're making some really fantastic low-cost, open-source sensors for medical supplies. As you may know, in many parts of the world, it can be very difficult to get high-level medical devices and sensors like EKGs, etc. So they are working with a group to make that possible by designing and manufacturing open-source materials. So that means that anybody can program them, anybody can reproduce them. You don't have to buy them from one company. There's no licensing involved, which brings the whole cost down and makes it much more accessible. So that's a really interesting talk. And again, here's what worked, here's what didn't work, here's what we're hoping for the future. So kudos to them getting online, because I know that there's a whole time difference. But yeah, this is the beauty of Maker Faire, is that people from all over the world are sharing. Okay, you guys know I'm obsessed with origami. I love origami. So this was a really fun origami project that was based on a traditional story that they shared with us at the start. It was a great kind of literacy connection, I felt like. The dolls are just super adorable. That flower with a tea light in the center is gorgeous. And the way that they presented the project was really charming too. So we had one person that was kind of our lead and one person that was asking questions as if they were really in a class, doing this. And I don't know, it just made it very accessible. So great project, lots of fun. Watch that one, make it. And then needle felting. I love needle felting. I'm very lucky to have needle felters in my life. And my girls love it too. It's not as scary as you think. And so this was a really fun project by, oh gosh, I'm blanking on the company. I will have to share it with Woolly. I'm blanking. They do kits too. And they have a ton of YouTube videos to get you started. But they made this adorable, crazy pumpkin. And just so many awesome techniques I'd never seen before. And I mean, I've been felting. I've done this stuff. So I have to go back and rewatch that one, because there were just some great techniques in there to really enhance your projects. And let's face it, that is a really cool little jack-o'-lantern. So that was super fun. This I thought was a great low-tech project that I am absolutely going to do with teens in the library. We have to do this. So this was a simple folded zine, and it was just take a piece of copy paper, fold it into a book, and create a little, magazine about something that you love. And then photocopy it and share it with others. Let them fold it into a book and share it with others. Such a simple idea, but such an important way to communicate and express yourself. So I really love this project. I will be rewatching this presentation again, and I'm definitely going to do this with teens, because we can do this online. Everybody's got, or can get some copy paper and some markers, and I would love to see what we create. And she went through the whole process of how do you choose what topics, and it just really well done. Perfect for distance learning, so I really enjoyed that. Anyone can do that. Okay, those of you that know me know that I am a gamer, just like Adam, who is the manager over at the Northeast branch. And we talk a lot about how we can bring gaming into the library. Well, this is such a cool concept. What they do is they took this whole idea. The presentation was called Beyond Candyland. So it's taking games that you already love, or maybe don't love, and reimagining them into something better, different, alternating the gameplay, and using that as a way to understand game design and to craft and create and innovate. So I just love that. If you have a game that nobody in the house wants to play, sit down and figure out why don't you want to play it, how can you make it better, then make it better. In my book, The Big Book of Maker Camp Projects, which you can get through the library, I have a whole project about remaking Guess Who to be like members of your family or your class or your camp. I love remaking games and making them better and making them more personal. So this was right up my alley. Definitely check that out. And wood turning. Okay, I forget his name. I just spoke to him last night in the Maker Meetup. Oh, I'm blanking. I have notes and everything. I forgot to write down his name. Anyway, this gentleman has a wood shop and a brand new YouTube channel, and he is doing some amazing work and sharing it with the world. Sometimes we forget, we think technology, and we don't think of traditional crafts and how they really do meld with technology, and how we can use technology to make more traditional crafts better and more accessible. So I really liked his talk for that, because I felt like he was sharing a really amazing perspective as an artist, and also sharing the technology and the methods that you would use. So if you are someone that loves the smell of sawdust, check out that wood turning presentation. Okay, last stage. I told you it was a lot. I told you it was so much. So this is our Makerspaces and Community Makers stage. I did not get to watch too many of these yet. I will have to go back and do that. I was kind of focused on projects today. But I want to start off with the 12,000 Masks project. This is a makerspace that did just a ton of work shooting the goal of making 12,000 masks, and kind of started with basic knowledge of sewing and went from there. And what I love again is that he sets down a really clear plan about how to bring sewing into your curriculum, into your school, into your makerspace, into your clubs, what you need, how you can get started, how you can use a $50 machine from the thrift store and fix it. And then really dealing with issues of like, how do you scale up something like this? How do you get them into the hands of people that need them? It was just a really interesting story of how to go from 0 to, well, 12,000 masks when the need was there, and all the different bumps in the road and how you can deal with them. It was a great talk. It was a really inspirational talk. He did a great job answering questions. At one point, he answers the question of, should we get a serger for our makerspace? That was me. I'm going to work on getting a serger for our makerspace so we can expand our sewing capabilities. Great talk. And as someone, you may not know this, but a lot of our staff at the library, while we were all working from home, we were making PPE, we were making masks, we were all sewing and being part of that effort. So I really loved it from that perspective too, because so many of us were part of that. This was the Fayetteville Free Library Makerspace, and this was a great talk about how they've built a community around their makerspace and what kind of projects they're offering. And I bring it up just because Mike was really great, and he took a lot of time answering, frankly, my questions about how we can build community, how we can welcome more people into our makerspace. So if you're interested in just learning more about what a makerspace can be, take a look at this, get in touch with me, because I would love to work with you as members of our community. So that was a really interesting talk, because they are, of course, much larger than we are. But good, solid ideas about, what kinds of projects you can offer and how you can build out with the people in your neighborhood and the people that are using your library to create new things for them. Now, I am a former biochemist. Some of you may know that. So this was of particular interest to me. This was GenSpace in New York. This is a community biolab. Think about that. Biotechnology, of course, is a huge growing field of study, especially important right now. Obviously, we're all looking to epidemiologists, we're all looking to scientists as we're trying to understand coronavirus and COVID. So this GenSpace Biolab is kind of perfectly positioned to help people, make real innovation and real change and study science in new and exciting ways. I just love the idea of having a biotech center that people can learn to use and come in and use to do their own experiments, because that kind of biohacking and that kind of experimentation in the community, in the public, can really help scientists. And it's a great way to be a citizen scientist. So I was very excited by that presentation. Okay, this is the Syracuse Public Library, and this is their talk on public libraries making PPE. Again, you may not know, but our 3D printers have been hard at work making face shields, just like the ones you see here. Syracuse, of course, is a large library, and they were pumping out face shields and other PPE specifically aimed towards helping those who are deaf and have hearing loss. So they were also trying to identify communities that really needed extra help with their mask making and such. So, and that's really important, because a lot of what people talked about today was inclusivity in science and engineering and the maker fields. Like, how can we make sure that everybody is welcome? How can we make sure that our maker spaces are serving the entirety of our community in a way that's equitable, in a way that's helping everyone rise up and do more and be better and make more of our communities? So this was really great. This was like putting that public effort to amazing use. And last one, speaking of inclusion, this is Magic Wheelchairs, and they are a nonprofit who works with kids who need wheelchairs to build amazing wheelchairs, often cosplay and costume and Halloween. But the goal is just to take an experience that could be negative and make it amazing and special and unique and exciting, and really giving that joy to kids. So this is a nonprofit that the maker community has been tremendously supportive of, that you can get involved with, because there's a lot of 3D printing, there's a lot of work that goes into making these creations. But again, it's about welcoming everybody into making and making sure that everybody has the opportunity to go to Comic-Con and be amazing and feel like they are super cool, right? So I loved that. Okay, so coming back over here. All right, almost done. I know we're getting close to that half-hour mark right now, but there is more that you can do. There is still coming up today, 3D printed chocolate, all kinds of robots, animation with robots, animatronics with robots. OK Go, do you know the band? The Rube Goldberg machine? Well, they created Sandbox, which is a way to use their awesome music videos as science lessons. And if you've ever attended any of my Rube Goldberg workshops or some of my physics workshops, you know I love using OK Go music videos in my workshops. So a whole presentation on using that. Educators, let me tell you, very, very engaging stuff. So check that out. Parents, same thing. And then there's going to be a bunch of 3D printing and cosplay. So the night is still young. We've still got another 2.5 hours of Maker Faire content, which means between 6 and 9 presentations still. And remember, all of this is free. It's all streamed. It's all on YouTube. Real quick, let me just show you the website so that you can go and check it out yourself. Is this the right one? No, that's the wrong one. Oh, one of these. Okay. Technology. All right, so we're going to talk about Lamore Freed in just a moment, aka Lady Ada. She is the founder of Ada Fruit Industries, and she was the keynote speaker today. So we're going to hear a snippet. She went to MIT. She's an electronics enthusiast who turned that into a Fortune 500 company that manufactures everything in New York. And when COVID hit, she was faced with how to keep that business running and how to serve her community while doing it. And she did a pretty amazing job of both of those things. So we're going to see a little bit of her talk. But you can see on the Empire State Maker Faire website, there is all these make projects that you can check out. So if you want to try projects yourself, you absolutely can. Make Projects has a ton of stuff, including a bunch of projects from me that you're welcome to do. So like I mentioned the origami, here it is step by step for you if you don't want to watch it on the video. So there's great stuff there. There's the full schedule, so you can check out what's happening. You can actually get in on some of these presentations on Zoom, so you can ask questions, or you can just view on YouTube. It's totally up to you. And then there's all the featured makers. So you could just click, see all makers, and learn about any of the people that presented, learn more about their projects. Really, really fun, great way to find out more about what was presented this weekend. So just take a look at that and check out these websites, check out these videos. Just a ton of inspiration for you. So that is the Maker Faire website. And you'll also notice way up here that there are other Maker Fairs, global Maker Fairs, many of them online right now. So the fun does not stop today. Okay, I'm going to share just a short clip of Lady Ada's, Lamore Freed's keynote speech. Now, I do want to warn you, there is one swear word. It's a pretty appropriate use of a swear word, to be honest. It's not like screamed or anything. It's just in conversation. But I do want to warn you that it is there. And because I kind of threw this together pretty quickly because it's still going on, I didn't quite blurt it out. Okay, so if you want to fast forward past the next minute and a half or so, that is, of course, your choice. Okay, I'm going to bring this up, bring this down.
Hey everybody, it's me, Lady Ada. Thank you to the kind puppets for introducing me. So I'm actually broadcasting from Manhattan. So we're here in the Empire State doing this thing, taking a break from the unending updates and Cuomo live casts. So, all right. So yes, we're here. We're socially distanced, but we're doing this thing. I've been to a lot of Maker Fairs. I've been to like the first Maker Faire, which was in San Francisco in the Bay Area, and then I've been a bunch of times to the ones in New York, which were super fun. So it's cool to see that we're still doing this. Like we're not gonna stop making just because maybe we can't go to some fairground. You pay it. So I think people remember that, in February and March, everything was really hectic and there was a lot of adversity. We didn't know what was going on. We didn't know what we had to do. There was not enough equipment. There was a lot of fear. There was a lot of sirens. It was just really really gruesome. It was really horrible. I hope we never have to go through that again. But that adversity can reveal character. Like when things are going to shit, that's when you can step up and help out. And I think what was cool is to see how many people in the maker community immediately stepped up and said, here's what I know, here's how I can help, and self-organizing.
So, her talk really centered on how their response, what their response to COVID was, how they dealt with all the problems that they had. Because let's face it, it's not easy these days to deal with all the restrictions, especially in New York City. But they really stepped up and did an amazing job of both providing free PPE to medical workers and others, and also addressing very quickly all the needs that that need to be in place for safety. So she gives a really good talk, and from the perspective also of running a company through all of this. So it was really interesting. I found it really inspiring too, because they all came together as a community and served their community. I also encourage you to check out Adafruit. I don't get anything for this, but Adafruit Industries is a fantastic company. I buy from them quite frequently. If you're into electronics technology or coding, they offer some really great products, really great innovative stuff. And they, on Wednesdays, they do show and tell, which is a great half-hour program where people share cool things that they're making. I enjoy watching that. And they also do have a program every week where they go over different technologies. They have a fantastic website with tons of DIY projects. So if you're looking to start a new hobby or expand on the hobby that you have, perhaps you want to make some amazing things for Halloween, you want to check out Adafruit, okay? And I will be totally honest, Lady Ada Lamore-Freed is one of my personal heroes as a woman in STEM. And she gives back so much to the maker community and so much to the city of New York, that I was really excited that she was our keynote speaker this year for our Maker Faire, for Empire State Maker Faire. So that is Saturday of Empire State Maker Faire. It's interesting to have a virtual Maker Faire for those of us that are used to actually going and getting to have a glass of wine and paella together. This is a little different, but it's still exciting. It's still great to connect with others. It's still great to see what people are doing, how they're innovating and making it through these very tough times. So if you need a little inspiration, if you need a little joy in your day, please go over to the Empire State Maker Faire website and find something new to learn, find something to be curious about, find something to create. All right, my name is Sandy Roberts. This is the Warren County Library System. I am the Makerspace Coordinator. I am going to head on home and learn some more about 3D printing chocolate. And I hope that you will jump on over to that website too. The sun is getting in my face now, so clearly it's time for Sandy to wrap this one up. I will see you on Monday at 3 p.m. for our next Upcycled Maker Monday. We are switching to some fun holiday Halloween crafts. We'll be making pumpkins from recycled t-shirts, little plushies, so that's going to be fun. We've got Halloween-themed Lego Club and Lego challenges coming up on Wednesday, and then next Friday at 3 p.m. I will be back with Friday's theme. We've got 2 weeks of sugar science and cool kitchen chemistry as we make chocolates and more. So, lots of exciting stuff coming up with the library. In the meantime, since we can't be together in the makerspace, I hope that you are staying safe and staying healthy and that you're making something new. All right, take care, folks.